Truth isn't trendy, it's eternal, positioning Israel doctrine as timeless and unshakable. I don't follow the crowd, I follow the covenant. Separates the movement from popular culture. The streets talk, I correct them. Asserts authority and credibility in debates. Israel doctrine, where facts cut deeper than feelings. Appeals to logic over emotion. If it's not scripture, it's just opinion. Keeps focus on the Bible as the foundation. I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be right. Bold, confident tone that builds respect. This isn't religion, this is restoration. Shifts the brand from dogma to revival of truth.
Peace, everyone. Tribute to DJ K. Slate, April the 1st, 2023, under the Drummer King legacy. Because all this stuff that people doing is all about legacy. So let's hear.
What's good, people? Welcome back. My name is Mr. Khalil Amani, and we're back to pay tribute to the late, great DJ K. Slay on this April 1st, 2023. For today, I said today, April the 1st, 2023, is the 10th anniversary of the alleged stabbing of Africa Bambaataa. 10 years ago, this April month, allegedly, Africa Bambaataa was stabbed by a young Spanish man for allegedly date raping him. But I want to pay my respects and tribute to the late, great DJ K. Slay. Rest in peace. For I am pushing the narrative and the message that the late, great DJ K. Slay is the unsung hero in this Africa Bambaataa narrative. Well, you ask, why do you say that? Again, DJ K. Slay, rest his beautiful soul, is the unsung hero in this Africa Bambaataa outing, in this Africa Bambaataa deconstruction, in this Africa Bambaataa undoing. That's right. For it was DJ K. Slay, nationally and internationally recognized DJ, Hot 97 radio personality, Sirius XM radio personality, Straight Stuntin' Magazine CEO. For it was DJ K. Slay being the first person of note, the first person in the industry to begin to dismantle the man we know as Africa Bambaataa, and he did it through me, Khalil Amani. And so what I want to do, I want to start off by reading the very blog that DJ K. Slay asked me to write about the stabbing of Africa Bambaataa in 2013. Here we have it. The article was called Africa Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping, Sent to Street Sweeper ENT at AOL.com. That is the late, great DJ K. Slay's email address. And it was sent on Tuesday, April the 2nd, at April the 2nd, 2013, at 8:06 p.m. The title is called Africa Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping by yours truly, Khalil Amani. And let us read it. Let us read it. Get our camera right. Africa Bambaataa, Gay and Date Raping by Khalil Amani, 2013. As dirty as a project hallway, as stench-filled as the New York subway system, as pissy as a dead-end alley where all manner of licentiousness goes down. Some rumors find legs and walk their way right into our lives, whether we like it or not. Such is the rumor that I've been hearing regarding one of hip-hop's iconic figures over 3 years. If you lived any kind of life, you just might have a skeleton or two in your closet. I know I used to until I wrote a book and aired myself out. And no, it wasn't that I had gay relations. The good book says, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad." I'll probably lose what little hip hop and Twitter followers I have for this one, but it's high time someone had the courage to bring one of hip hop's iconic figures out of the closet. It's just effing time hip hop came to terms with its gayness. The grapevine, the wire, gossip, hood speak has been whispering about Africa Bambaataa over the years, saying that, allegedly, he is gay and likes young guys / teenage boys. Niggas in New York say it's true, but have kept that ish under wraps. No pun intended. For the sake of rap music, hip hop is in denial and has been in denial for over 30 years. From the early days as a leader in the Black Spades gang and the Zulu Nation, it was well known that, allegedly, Africa Bambaataa liked guys. If it's a lie, then the hood is lying on him. I ain't making this stuff up to shit on the man. I'm just a lowly blogger with a scoop. Yes, niggas in New York have been mumbling under their breath about Bambaataa's proclivities for shagging dudes, but because of whom he is to hip hop, has given him a pass and let sleeping dogs lie. Bambaataa's influence on hip hop, pop culture, coupled with his known street fighting game, has kept the hood from airing him out. Hip hop / rap has been hell on gays, lyrically speaking, never wanting the world to know that one of its founders is gayer than a motherfucker. The very mention of homosexuality ruffles these rap niggas' panties, but its founder is gay? As the saying goes, those who protest most are most suspect. Perhaps that's why hip hop is so homophobic. Hip hop has something to hide, and that is that the streets are whispering that its founder is one of those gay dudes. Now comes the most damning rumor. That is, Mr. Bambaataa was recently stabbed. Why? From what the streets are saying, he allegedly pulled a Rick Ross, slipped some kind of date rape drug in another man's drink, which caused this dude to pass out. When this dude woke up, he found Africa Bambaataa on bended knee, giving him oral copulation, performing fellatio, sucking the young man's dick. This cat put that steel blade to Bambaataa, I'm being told. More disturbing than Bambaataa being secretly gay is the rumor that he's going around date raping niggas. The fuck has happened to hip hop? Could this be the scandal that brings down hip hop's homophobic house? That its founder is gay? That hip hop has been perpetrating the fraud, talking that rough, rugged, and raw heterosexual ish while taking it up the anus? My New York sources are reliable as fuck. And a good reporter never gives up his sources and connects, so don't ask me. The streets talk and have been talking about Africa Bambaataa being gay. To some, this is old news, but for the wide world of hip hop, this is jaw dropping. I've had intel on Bambaataa, allegedly, being gay for 3 years now, but this latest hood news of him being knifed for sucking a dude off without his consent is more than I can keep under wraps. It took some deep, conscious thought to put this blog out, but I know sooner or later it's all going to come out. It's time for Africa Bambaataa to step up to the plate and deliver the goods. Tell the hip hop world that you're gay, and tell the hip hop world to finally let go of its homophobia. For verily I say unto you, hip hop is on the verge of a new era. And there you have it, people. That is the article that I wrote in 2013. All right, let me turn the camera around and we'll get to talking. See my backyard? Nice and sunny out today. See, it's nice and sunny. We're about to get this thing started. Turn that around. Now you can see me. All right, let's get set up here. Got my water. I got my Casely. Hat on. I'm gonna back up because I'm rocking the shirt. Straight Stunting magazine. That's what we doing. Now, let's put my shades on. Let's get to it. I'm your host, and my name is Mr. Khalil Amani. And this is the 10th anniversary of the alleged stabbing of Africa Bambaataa. And you are looking at the man who set this stuff in motion. Again, we're talking 2013, not 2016. And I want to say on this 10th anniversary of the Africa Bambaataa stabbing, this will arguably be the last time that I speak on this subject and go over the details of my involvement in the Africa Bambaataa narrative. Frankly, I'm kind of tired of talking about this. But I'm doing it to keep the narrative strong, keep it alive, and let people know. And I'm doing it for my good friend and my co-worker, the immortal and incomparable DJ K. Slade. I was a writer for DJ K. Slade's Straight Stunt magazine for 10 wonderful years. That's how I got the story. Now, before I go into this story, let me tell you what I was doing in 2013 in case you think I didn't have no life before the Bambaataa story. I said, let me tell you what I was doing in 2013, lest you think that I'm a clout chaser and I'm looking for fame and fortune, and I was looking to, get in to the hip hop's inner circles and all of that jazz. Well, what was I doing in 2013? Number one, I was writing for the world's most dangerous hip hop site, allhiphop.com. If you don't know, I said I was a staff writer for arguably the most respected hip hop site in the world, allhiphop.com. I was writing hella editorials for Grouchy Greg and Chuck Creekmere, the owners of allhiphop.com. But even bigger than that, in 2013, Khalil Amani was appearing on national television because I had my own narrative and I had my own story to tell about being in a religious cult back in the 80s. And so coincidentally, while I am wrestling with the African Mabata narrative, as you see, I wrote that article on April the 1st, 2013. While I was dealing with that, I was being featured on national television, on the Biography Channel, on a show called Escaping Evil, My Life in a Cult. And I want to show you a little clip. I'm giving you the background and the backdrop and the setting of 2013 before this African Mabata lands in my lap. I wasn't just sitting in middle America doing nothing. I wasn't just waiting on a great story from somewhere to pop up so I can gossip. I was doing my own thing. I was doing something like, let me show you what I got here. I just want you to understand that I had a life outside of this Bambaataa thing. That I wasn't sitting there as a nobody in middle America waiting on something to do. And that's a fact. I was actually on a show back then called Escaping Evil, My Life in a Cult. Again, this is 2013. And I'm going to play just a little clip and you'll see. It's called Escaping Evil, My Life in a Cult. It aired in 2013. Let me play a little clip. My name is Khalil Amani. Most of my formative childhood was in Miami. And 7 of us, 4 boys, 1 girl, mom and dad, full household.
Before he becomes Khalil, He is born Lloyd Banks in 1960. As a kid, he has no idea he would one day renounce his birth name and fall under the spell of a violent cult leader.
I grew up as a Christian in the Baptist church. I've always been a child who wanted to go to church. I was baptized at about 10 years old. So I was always a spiritual kid. My relationship with my father was non-existent. Never held my hand, never hugged me. Although he was there the whole time, clothed us, sheltered us, but he never had a relationship with us. Like there was never a day when we went out to the park, played ball. He never rolled around on the living room floor with us. We just there, high and by, nothing more, nothing less. The only time my father touched me is when he was spanking us. I don't know my father's touch. Never had.
His emotionally distant father creates a void which Lloyd seeks to fill through other role models.
When I was in the 5th grade, I actually had a social studies teacher who was really good at just allowing us to see what was going on. We're talking about 1968, and you had like Kent State and Vietnam War, and women's lib was coming of age, the Black Power movement. We were talking about it in school, but I'd go home and I wasn't reinforced at home.
By the time Lloyd is in college in 1979, he views religion with a more open mind.
One of my biggest hang-ups by this period was like, why is Jesus white? Guys from the Middle East, why is he looking like a European?
Okay, that's enough. I just wanted to give you a glimpse of my life back in those days. 2013. During the same period that the African Bambaataa story is dropped on my lap. Yeah. So I wasn't no bum-ass, Rudy-Poot-ass nigga sitting on YouTube or, I was doing things. I was doing what you just saw, appearing on the biography channel, national TV, telling my cult story in 2013. I was also over here writing for Chuck Creekmere and Grouchy Greg, allhiphop.com, putting out hellacious editorials for those brothers. I had a life. And thirdly, I was writing for DJ K-Slay's Straight Stuntin' magazine. I had started writing for them in late 2008. So understand I was a busy old fellow, appearing on TV in 2013, writing for allhiphop.com during those same years, and writing for DJ K-Slay's Straight Stuntin' magazine, even having my name on the cover of the magazine. Mano on the front cover, Busta Rhymes on the back cover, and Khalil Amani on the back cover. I was popping. I'm talking about the late, great DJ K-Slay's magazine. I was popping in hip-hop circles, as well as I was popping in mainstream media. That's who I am. I am not your Rudy-Poot ass every day fire at my computer YouTuber. I was really in the thick of the shit. I was dealing with the Bambaataa story in 2013, and I was dealing with my own narrative, my own story, my own life, where I have a great story that I was trying to tell to you, whoever will listen. So in 2013, that was my third national TV show, going back to 1988 when I was on CBS's West 57th Street. In 2010, when I was on the biography channel, I Survived a Cult. And now in 2013, I'm on the biography channel again, talking about escaping evil. I don't mean to talk about myself so much, but it's clear to me from listening and watching YouTube that people don't really know who I am. And so I toot my own horn, and this is Khalil Amani's world, so I tell my own story. If you don't like it, change the channel. But I was really about something back then as I am today. And so, people, it was 10 years ago today, April 1st, 2023, which is when I'm making this video. It was April 1st, 2013. I believe it was a Monday night, somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock at night. "2,000 miles away in New York City, Africa Bambaataa was allegedly date raping a dude." Now, when you listen to my article, it's clear that I'm not really focused in on pedophilia at that time. At that time, people were talking about who's gay in hip hop, who's not. Another brother before me had written a book called Hiding in Hip Hop. Terrence Dean, I believe his name was. Today, he is Dr. Terrence Dean. He was an industry insider who had written a book called Hiding in Hip Hop, or Not Hiding in Hip Hop, or something like that. Hiding in Hip Hop. And back then, you had the Wendy Williams, and you had all of these people. You had the different YouTubers and different people who were speculating that P. Diddy was gay, and that this person was gay, and that person was gay. So it was under that umbrella. It was in that scenario in which my article came out, where I wasn't really looking at Bambaataa as a pedophile, because for all intents and purposes, I didn't know the age of the dude that had allegedly stabbed Bambaataa. I didn't know his age. I believe the New York State statute of age of consent in New York is 17. So the guy might have been of legal age. He might have been 17, 18, 19, 20, however young he was. And he might have been 14, 15, 16. But because I didn't know, as I don't know today, the age of the gentleman who allegedly stabbed Bambaataa, and because also I'm a gay rights advocate, more specifically a gay rapper advocate, more specifically, where's my book? 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 Yeah. More specifically, having written the first book about homophobia in hip hop way back in 2007, that explains the angle that my article comes from. That was 10 years ago. We are more advanced now. We understand that it's not about African Bambaataa simply being a gay LGBTQ or SGL brother, the same gender loving brother, that's not the issue no more. Back then, that seemed to be the issue, just Bambaataa being gay. I said Bambaataa being gay in 2013 was a big hoo-ha. We hadn't yet honed in on the fact that this dude might be a pedophile. I'm explaining that for people who are wondering, why does my article seem to talk about Bambaataa being gay, and not Bambaataa being a pedophile. Because back then, we weren't really honing in on that. And when the story was given to me, it wasn't given to me under the umbrella, under the shading of Bambaataa being a pedophile. It was given to me, Bambaataa was a gay dude. And that's why you don't see the word pedophile in my argument, in my article. We had not yet looked at it just that deep. And so while YouTubers today while people today have the hindsight or have the what's the word? Have the advantage. 10 years later, we have the advantage, or even 6 years later, we had the advantage, or even 4 years later, we had the advantage of looking a little bit deeper and a little closer at this thing. And so we shifted the narrative from Bambaataa simply being a gay dude to understanding in 2016, when the victims of Bambaataa came forward, we shifted it and realized that it wasn't just him being gay, that Bambaataa was a pedophile, allegedly. 3 years later, remember, my article came out before Ronald Savage, before Hassan Campbell. My article came out 3 years. There wasn't anybody out there talking about it. There were no voices that I could lean on or listen to when I wrote my article. Nobody. Hassan Campbell and Ronald B. Stinger Savage came 3 years later in 2016. They put the faces to what I had written. And so when Ronald B. Stinger Savage and others, Hassan Campbell and others, come out and share their story with Star, Shot 9-7, Star in the Morning, shout out to Troy, Star to Rain, for breaking this story wide open. But it took their faces and it took their stories to make people see this is not just about homosexuality. Now we have men coming out saying they were sexually abused as young boys, as teenagers, even prepubescent. As Hassan Campbell says, he was 12 or 13. That's prepubescent. So I just want to explain to you all why my article doesn't say pedophilia. Because honestly, in hip hop circles, when we talk, the Hip Hop Weekly magazine and the Source and the Vibe and, the different people that were talking, the different talking heads, the different people on radio, the dude who wrote a book about gays in hip hop, the focus was not on pedophilia in 2013 and before that. The focus was about who is gay in hip hop. Is P. Diddy gay? Everybody was looking for a smoking gun. Everybody was trying to figure out who was gay. And so when I write my article in 2013, it's written in that same vein. No one's talking pedophilia. People are talking who's gay in hip hop. Which rapper is gay in hip hop? And so when I write my article, I'm writing from that time period and that frame of reference and that mindset. You understand? Nobody had come out on Bambaataa just yet. All I had was a scoop about a story about a stabbing. No one knew the age of the young man. And as a gay rights dude, as someone who had advocated for gays and lesbians and transgenders to be heard on mainstream media, to have their music played on the radio, that was my position, that Bambaataa should come out and admit that he's gay. I didn't have the information about the pedophile stuff just yet. Although I was told that the man that Bambaataa allegedly molested, that he was young. Young doesn't mean pedophile. And if you want to get even more technical, clinically speaking, according to the DSM-5 revised, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, what classifies and what defines a pedophile is a man or a woman, a grown person, or even an older teenager who has consistent and consuming thoughts of having sex with children who range between the ages of 10 and 13. That is the definition, that is the clinical definition of what a real pedophile is. And because I'm not a doctor, I cannot diagnose, because pedophilia is an actual clinical diagnosis. Although we throw the word out there, I said we throw the word out there all the time. We throw the word pedophile out there like running water, never having looked up the word and get a real clinical definition. And some of us, and most of us, don't know that pedophiles can even be teenage children. A pedophile can be a 16, a 17-year-old. Did you know that? You thought pedophilia was only adults messing with children, but that's not the definition of pedophilia. The definition by clinical terms, according to the APA's, the American Psychological Association's Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, aka DSM #5 revised, the clinical definition is a man or a woman, is anyone from 16 to 100 years old who's got a fixation, a sexual fixation and urge to have sex with prepubescent children. That's from 10 to 13. Pedophilia is about the age range of 10 to 13. Pedophilia is not even dealing with children 8 or 9. There's a different definition for that. But we don't read, so we just throw words out there. We just throw words out there, not really knowing what the word pedophilia really means from a clinical standpoint, from a litigious point of view. In other words, if you had to go to court behind something like this, they would actually define pedophilia. It might be child abuse and not pedophilia. There's a difference between child abuse and pedophilia. We're not going to get off. I'm getting too deep right now. But I'm simply explaining to you why my 2013 article, you don't see the word child abuse or pedophilia in there, because I didn't know the age of the guy who allegedly stabbed Bambaataa for being molested. I didn't know the age of him. But certainly it was a guy of the same sex. It was another male. So at the very least, we could say that African Bambaataa was a homosexual. He might be a child molester, and he might be a pedophile. But we didn't have that information in 2013. We had the information that the person that Bambaataa molested was of the same gender. That's for these people today who want to say, you're trying to make Bambaataa part of the gay community. He might be part of the gay community. The guy that Bambaataa allegedly date raped, he might have been of age. He might have been 17, 18, 19. And if the guy who Bambaataa allegedly molested was 17, 18, 19 and above, then that would make him gay and not a pedophile. So I didn't have that information back then, so I simply said gay. But today in 2023, we have the luxury of being Monday morning armchair quarterbacks. We know a little bit more. Thanks to Troy Star Terrain, bringing forth Hassan Poppy Campbell, Ronald B. Stinger Savage, and others. We now know that Bambaataa, at the very least, is a child molester, even if he's not a pedophile. But it looks like he's a pedophile in my eyes. But I'm not a doctor, and only a doctor can clinically assign the title of pedophile to an individual. Having the title of pedophile is like being HIV positive. It takes a lab test, a blood test, to be read and interpreted by a pathologist and given to a doctor to make that definition and diagnosis that this person is HIV positive. The same thing happens for the word pedophile. It takes a clinician, it takes a psychiatrist to sit down and listen to a person's story to make that clinical diagnosis that this guy on my couch is actually a pedophile. He has obsession. He has a mental obsession with children that range between 10 and 13. Clinically speaking, he's a pedophile. But I want to talk about that night. For the last time, I'm going to talk about that night. For it was April the 1st, 2013. Khalil Amani, me, I was sitting on my couch here in Middle America, about to call it a night, jump in the shower, go see my wife, and handle my husband duties. That's what I was planning to do. When the phone rang on that Monday night, and I picked it up and I realized that it was my hip hop boss, the good, immortal, slap your favorite DJ, the drama king, DJ K Slay, rest in peace. He was calling me on a Monday night. If it was 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock here in Denver, it would have been midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning in New York City, for I am 2 hours behind Eastern Standard Time. And so when I saw that it was my friend and my boss, DJ K Slay, I immediately grabbed the phone, thinking that he was calling me to give me or to ask me for a new article. Because he always called me usually kind of late. What's up, Khalil? Hey, what's up, Slay? I need another article. I got a new straight stunting magazine coming out. I need an article, brother. And I say, I'm right on it. I'll send you one in the morning. I'll send you one in the hour, because I always had lots of articles written in the chamber. I didn't have to start writing when K Slay said, I need another article. I already had a whole chamber full of articles on various subjects, All I had to do was go to my little vault and go, let's see, let me give K-Slave this article about Rick Ross, or let me give him this one about Gucci Man, or let me give him this one about, men washing their cars, or let me give about the gay hip hop. I had a whole lot of articles. And so when he called me on April the 1st that night, that Monday night, I thought he wanted an article. And when I picked up the phone, the first thing I heard, when I said, "What up, Slade?" the first words I heard was, "I'm tired of this shit." I damn near dropped my phone. Whoa. In an instant, I searched my mind and brain to see what was K-Slade talking about. He said, "I'm tired of this shit." And I said, "Oh my God, what have I done to offend the drama king?" I know how you give it up. My brain, like a computer, was going through its data bank, long-term memory, short-term memory, trying to see what had I said or written or put out that made him mad, that made him call me and say, "I'm tired of this shit, Khalil." And so I said, yo, what's up? What do you mean? What's going on? And then he said that word, Bambaataa. Bambaataa. Whoa. Yo, what about Bambaataa? I said, what about Bambaataa? I was just going, phew, he ain't mad at me. He ain't mad at me. Phew. I said, what about Bambaataa? And my dear friend and my hip hop boss, DJ K-Slade, began to relate to me that Bambaataa had just gotten stabbed damn near in real time. That I was receiving this information about what was going on in New York damn near just after it happened. I'm sitting in middle America, in Denver, Colorado, on my couch in boxer drawers, getting the intelligence that the godfather of hip hop had just gotten stabbed for allegedly date raping a young Spanish man. And so K-Slade relates to me. He says, I was walking in a store, a bodega or something, and dude pulls up and says, yo, you heard about your mans? And K-Slade said, who my mans? What are you talking about? Bambaataa. Dude just got stabbed. Yeah, he said he date raped a dude. Put something in his drink. Dude fell asleep. Bambaataa got down and started performing oral sex on the guy. The guy woke up in the middle of the oral sex, went ballistic, grabbed a knife or scissors, something sharp, and began to stick and poke at Bambaataa. And as we know now, his man's Ahmed Henderson was in the next room on a four-way conference call from New York to California. And he heard the skirmish, he heard the scuttlebutt, he heard Bambaataa hollering, he heard furniture being moved around the room, he heard rumblings and he heard noises, and he dropped his conference call. He said, "Yo, I gotta go. He hung up the phone and he goes in there. He jumps into a karate stance. He gets his black belt Jones on because his roommate Ahmed Henderson is a black belt. He gets down in a Kibadachi stance. I don't know, maybe a crane, and begins to get ready. But the young Spanish man is too good. He's too quick. And he has his knife or scissors, and he begins to poke at Ahmed Henderson and African Bambaataa, sticking them on the hands and the stomach and back and just poking them all up around the room, poking both of them up. They all like this, trying to fight off, and the Spanish man is giving them the work, giving them that business. This is a story with some embellishments that was relayed to me by DJ K-Slade on the night of Monday, April the 1st, 2013, exactly 10 years from the making of this video. So DJ K-Slade called me. He wasn't just calling me to vent. I said DJ K-Slade wasn't just calling me to vent his frustrations. He called me for a mission. He said, Khalil Amani, I want you to write what I'm telling you and send it to me tomorrow. He said, I'm tired of Bambaataa. He said, this has been going on for years. It's time to put him out there. That's why I think I'm going to call this video DJ K-Slade, the unsung hero. The unsung hero. DJ K-Slade recognized that something had to be done about Bambaataa messing with the children. But because DJ K-Slade was a nationally and internationally recognized DJ, heavy in the rap music industry, he needed a voice. He needed a voice to voice his concerns about Bambaataa, and he used me. And I was glad to be used, because there's a saying, everybody can be used for something. But if you can't be used, then you're useless. And so I allowed DJ K-Slade to use me to out Africa Bambaataa. Now let's go to the backstory for a minute. That was 2013. Let's go back about 5 years to about 2008. And let me tell you the beginnings of me and DJ K-Slade's business together. See where we at time-wise. You see, people, let me explain to you how me and DJ K-Slade became comrades, became boss and employee, became friends. Those of you who are old enough to remember the old MySpace days. Remember MySpace? MySpace was the joint before Facebook. MySpace. And back in those days, 2006, 7, and 8, and 9, MySpace had it going on. Anybody who was anybody was on MySpace, including the likes of DJ K-Slade and P. Diddy and Beyonce and all your favorite rappers, all your favorite singers. Anybody who was anybody was on MySpace along with the regular people. And so what I used to do back in those days is I would write articles, I would write blogs, and I would fish. I would write an article about something, and I would send it to people who I think might want to respond to me. I remember one time P. Diddy responded to one of my blogs. It was simple, it was short, it was something like great writing, something like that. But for nobody like me, for P. Diddy to say great writing, that made my week. And so I wrote this article called Why Gay Hip Hop? I said I wrote an article called Why Gay Hip Hop. I was asking the hip hop, the rap world, how come there ain't no gay rappers openly? Not allegedly, not I think he's gay, he might be gay. Why ain't there no gay rappers openly on the radio? Because as I said, a year before I met K. Slade, I put this similar work out, Hip Hop Homophobes, a little 130-page book. I was on that type of time. And when I put this article out called Why Gay Hip Hop, I sent it all over MySpace. P. Diddy and this rapper and that producer, famous people. And I sent it to DJ K. Slade too, knowing full well that most of the people I sent it to would reject what I'm saying. I sent it to K. Slade. Knowing full well that he would never even respond to my no-name ass. I sent it to DJ K. Slade knowing full well that he was too big to be talking to a man like me. But DJ K. Slade responded. I said, DJ K. Slade responded to my article. Wow! A man like DJ K. Slade, the man who refereed the Jay-Z and Nas beef war of words, the dude who was banging out Buffy the Body, the dude who had harsh words for DJ Drama. No, not Drama. One of those DJs up in New York. It'll come to me. Shout out to DJ Drama. That's the brother down in Atlanta. This huge, towering figure answered my blog. I was so super elated and delighted that I had gotten the ear and eye of a real hip hop insider. It didn't matter what K. Slade's position was. I respected the fact that he took the time to answer little old me. This is 2008. I said, this is 2008. And so he answered me through the emails on MySpace. MySpace has you can send messages through MySpace. He answered me back. And he wrote me a pretty long and rough denial. He responded in the negative. He said, hell no. Ain't no gay rapper, got nothing to do with no hip hop. Rap music is about heterosexuals. Rap music is about hardcore street stuff. A gay dude ain't got no business in rap music, is basically what he said. And of course, I wasn't going to let him off the hook, now that I had him on the hook. And I responded. And because I'm a writer and he's a DJ, whose words do you think stung the most? And I answered him back. I rebutted what he said. And I thought that was going to be the end of it. But K. Slade was not leaving the stage without a fight. He shot back with another email. Whoa. Long-winded email. Basically saying the same types of things that a gay dude ain't got no business in hip hop. And me and DJ K Slade went back probably 8 or 9 emails back and forth having that discussion about gay rappers. He was anti and I was pro. And after we went about 8, 9 emails deep, it was time, it was over. I thought it was over. And I said, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool that a nationally and internationally known DJ would actually entertain little old nobody me. Mind you, this is 2008. And right when I thought it was over, I was up late one night, probably about midnight, Denver time, which means it was about 2 o'clock New York time. I'm on MySpace and my light goes off, which means I have a message. And lo and behold, it's DJ K Slade again. And his message was, call me. And then a number. I said his message was, it was 2 a.m. in New York when he wrote the message to me saying, call me, phone number. Now, it's one thing to go email for email against the Drama King, but it's a whole nother ball of wax to get on the phone with the Drama King and hear that rapturous and roaring voice that he has. And I wasn't going to do it. I can admit to you all that I turned into a whole bitch. I turned into a bitch-ass nigga. That I didn't want no parts of a phone conversation with legendary DJ K Slade. Even though he was in New York and I was 2,000 miles away in Denver, Colorado, I didn't want no smoke with the Drama King. I am not going to call him so he can curse my ass out via the telephone. As a matter of fact, if memory serves me correctly, I shut my computer down and went to bed. Because he could see that I was on MySpace at the time. I shut it down. I didn't want no parts of it. And I was so shook the next day that when I turned on my computer and went to MySpace, I was shook to open up the app, the MySpace app, because I didn't want to see another message. And sure enough, there was another message from DJ K Slade. And it simply said, call me, bro. Call me, bro. Now, mind you, I had time to think about this thing. And then I said to myself, I said, Khalil, stop being a bitch-ass nigga and call him. What's the worst that K Slade can do besides curse you the hell out? But he's in New York. It's just words. Call him. So I mustered up the strength and I called DJ K Slade a day or so later. I called. He didn't answer. I was happy. And then 10 minutes later, he calls me and said, goddamn. So I pick up the phone. I I got my boxing voice on. I'm ready to box with this nigga because the nigga told me he ain't feeling what I'm talking about. So my mind is like this. My mind is like, ready. I'm ready, nigga. What? I said, hello, Khalil speaking. I am shook, people. I ain't never been that scared to take a phone call in my life. But I admit to you, I was afraid to take K Slay's call. And when I said, when I mustered up as much energy to sound like a man as I could, because inside I sounded like this. What's happening, Mr. K Slay? How you doing, Mr. K Slay? But I prayed when I opened my voice, I'd have a man voice, because my insides felt like a whole bitch. And I said, hey, Khalil Money speaking, what's good? And I waited for the nigga, I told you I don't fuck with that gay shit. But that's not what I heard. What I heard was a very calm and peaceful man. Hey, it's K Slay, how you doing, man? Hey, I'm good. How you doing, K Slay? How you doing, K Slay? I'm good, man. How you doing? Good. After the pleasantries and the introductions, 1 second. Come on in. Come in.
Do you have some fucking underwear? You can keep it so hot outside.
Hold on. I'm in the middle of a video.
Oh, gosh.
Be right with y'all. Be right back. Hold that thought.
Oh, you fucking wrong. I've gained so much weight. I've gained weight.
All right.
I quit smoking.
Open up your camera. You come in. Okay.
Do you hear me?
You quit smoking? Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So that's kind of like why I'm like.
Looks good on you.
Gained weight, getting fat, you know.
It looks good. You like black guys, right?
Yeah.
But these black guys don't want them skinny.
PMG.
Huh?
I'm dating a guy from PMG.
Okay. She's black, right? Okay, so you don't want no skinny ass white girl.
But the guy, fucking like almost 3 years.
Shh. You don't be on camera. Go.
It's not recording.
Yes, it is.
Oh, fuck.
I'm recording.
Delete it.
Can't delete that. Bye. Close my door.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all. That's my coworker. She came to pick up something. Y'all heard a little bit of that. my white coworkers. All right. We got to close this down. Okay. We got time. And so, where was I? Okay. Casely. So although I was ready for a serious argument on the phone, he didn't call to argue. He called me, he was pleasant, he was kind, he was considerate, he was gentle, he was respectful, he was all of that. That drama king, that slap your favorite DJ, all that, that's a character. I was talking to the man, man to man. And after the pleasantries and the how you doing, blah, 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 the first thing DJ K-Slay says to me, man, he says, man, you got a mean pin game, bro. You got a mean pin game. And I was like, thank you, K-Slay, thank you. I'm still nervous because I don't know why he wants me to call him. I really don't know what he made it very clear in his emails that he's not messing with the gay stuff. So I don't know I don't know what he wants. I don't know what he wants. I know he's against what I'm talking about. Gay rappers in mainstream media. He ain't having it. So I'm listening. So I shut up. I shut up because I don't know what he wants with me. And after he tells me I got a mean pen game, he shocks me. I said he throws me for a loop because he says, I've been thinking about this gay thing, brother. I've been thinking about what you said. I read what you said. And it got me to thinking. And he said, you know what, Khalil? He said, you know what? I think you're right. I think a gay rapper should be able to be in mainstream so long as he has the lyricism and the talent to do so. Not to come into mainstream just to say he's a gay rapper, but if he can rap, if the people want him, if the people like him, he should be able to be in mainstream. But let me tell you something, Khalil. Let me tell you why I changed my opinion. Let me tell you why I now believe what you're saying. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm just quiet. I have no clue where this conversation is going. Again, we're talking 2008. 5 years before Bambaataa gets stabbed, and 8 years before Hassan and Ronald come out and tell us their stories of child molestation. In 2008, I'm on the phone in Colorado when DJ K-Slaves says to me, the reason I changed my opinion because of Africa Bambaataa. Now, when K-Slay says, I changed my views and opinion about gay rappers in mainstream because of Bambaataa, I'm still shocked. I still don't understand. I'm still miffed and mummified. I'm still thinking, what the fuck? I got a big old question mark hovering above my head because I don't know what Africa Bambaataa has to do with gay rappers. I know who Africa Bambaataa is prior to all this. I remember dancing off of Planet Rock many times in a nightclub. I knew that Africa Bambaataa was the founder of the Zulu Nation. I knew that Bambaataa used to be in the Baby Spades or the Black Spades, was a gang member. I knew all that. But I couldn't make the connection. When DJ K-Slay says, I changed my mind about gay rappers because of Bambaataa, I didn't understand the connection. So I shut up and I continued listening. And what came next from DJ K-Slay was, well, you know Bambaataa used to be in the Black Spades. I said, yeah, I know that. I know that's Slay. And you know he's a member of the Zulu Nation, right? He's the founder of the Zulu Nation. I said, yeah, I know that, yeah. You know he got a pretty good, Bambaataa got a pretty good street reputation, fisticuff, fight game. Yeah. I mean, if he's in a gang, I assume he probably can fight a little bit. Yeah, I got you. K-Slay is prepping me. He's asking me, do I know that Bambaataa was in Black Spades gang? Do I know that he's the founder of Zulu Nation? He's checking my temperature and seeing how much I know about Bambaataa, which I knew enough. I knew Planet Rock. I knew he was called the godfather of hip hop. I knew he was a black spade. I knew he's the founder of the Zulu Nation. So we got past that. And then K-Slade drops the bomb. Again, people, we're talking 2008. K-Slade drops the bomb. He says, well, you know Bambaataa gay. I said, K-Slade said, well, you know Bambaataa gay. Jesus Christ. Jesus H. Christ. And of course, my response was, what? You mean the godfather of hip hop? You mean the man who made Planet Rock? The founder of the Zulu Nation? Black Spades gangster is a gay dude? Nah, Slade. Yes, he is. Jesus Christ. I said we're talking 2008. And so K-Slade goes on to tell me that a man like Africa Bambaataa, who got, impeccable street credibility, a known street fighter, a known gang member in the Black Spades, founder of the Zulu Nation, if this gay dude, Bambaataa, had a hit record, Planet Rock, if this gay dude named Bambaataa, if he can enjoy mainstream success being a gay dude, then why can't another gay dude or a lesbian chick enjoy that same respectability, that same success? That was DJ K-Slade's rationale for changing his opinion about gay rappers, because he told me in 2008 that Africa Bambaataa was a gay dude.
That's it, people. Now you know why gay was really put in the title. Now you know. Just take your time, go back and listen to it. You know what I'm saying? And really pay attention to what he tell you. 2008, he knew that Bambaataa liked little boys. But I didn't have no information saying that he was. You had the information. But with that said, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to be notified when we do something else. We will be doing something biblically tomorrow. You gotta wait on my adversary to drop some. Peace, I'm out.